Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 7th of November. Not a big surprise. We retested back to the 50% the previous day on Monday and slight finish up to the upside. And we kind of expected to slow down at this particular stage since we're hitting that upside resistance there. It is the beginning of new fund money coming into it, but we've already seen a significant drop, and that may have been, a rise, and that may have been enough to create a little bit of a pause, at least from the desire to jump into the elevated push. It is enough to drive things higher, but um, it's going to take a significant amount of effort since we really weren't seeing a whole lot of short activity at all. We're starting the day, pre-market at least, retesting back to that 50%. The more times that it tests coming back down there without dipping below, you get to build some strength. But uh, if you're not able to push through, but given where we're seeing, even from like the Nasdaq, I mean, you look at these readings, 56. It's gonna, nearly double our 33 line, and that's a significant time it's going to take for it to move back down. Where I'll see the earliest removal here will be from a DOC standpoint when the DOC green and cyan come back to a meeting point at this particular stage. That's when we would see significant activity. What it does give you, though, is a reset of steel short-term buyers fading off that, and that will give another opportunity for them to reignite, particularly if any short activity takes place. Treasury's moving back up slightly. And again, this is going to be the interesting question because as more money moves into there, that yield should suffer a little bit, but at this particular stage, still elevated relative to where the Fed is, and that's just the relative market risk. Uh, Currently, big dip in oil at this particular stage, and that's significant because if oil's not able to push back up, that will ease things dramatically and really change the whole dynamic of things. And that may not necessarily be a great thing for the market because at that point, the Fed won't feel the need to be softer in their position. Euro, after its pretty big move and a lot of positive extremes, just giving back a little bit of it. And this is sort of that feeling out period that we're in at this particular stage. Gold, obviously, and the lack of tensions fading off a little bit. Just a lot of everything is just fading off the news, and now it's really going to come down to how well companies are actually doing. Bitcoin again languishing at this particular stage, just in this sideways action. The more interesting one was ETH here, where at least it continued its move to the upside to kind of catch up to Bitcoin from a relative term of performance, at least. From a 50K standpoint, well, you can see how many positive extremes exist for a fill back, but in the interim, this is our first real test back of the 76% happened yesterday, and that's not bad overall. Move to the 50% would not be out of range at 43.50, particularly right now with MBI weight leading. That's the weakest we've seen from a DOC reading in quite some time, just well before the breakout actually began. So it's been quite a run to the upside from that. When we look at it from a 5K standpoint, a little bit of brief weakness that took place, and after that, it was pretty well a decent move. And then in the post market, there's just been a whole lot of nothing. So there's not a whole lot of excitement at this particular stage, and I think that's just testing because if oil continues to fall, it does put, I think, some downward pressure on the market because that would stimulate real economic growth, which certainly will have the Fed less willing to, participate in any kind of easing or propping up of anything. So, barring anything on the world stage, we're just sort of going to have to follow where the readings are at this particular stage. And from a broader standpoint, bullish, intraday standpoint, there's some softness. The long and the short of it, basically. Kind of one of those neutral starts to the week. As always, though, I will continue to update you on anything relevant. Trade well. Have a good one.